All right.
Adults, technically, we are podcast 3.
We're all awake.
I'm so tired.
I have no reason to be tired.
I can't. Fucking. Okay. Let's cheer the fuck up, boys. You're ready for a thrilling podcast, and you're in a different world again. Get the fuck close to the mic.
Yeah, get on the mic. Come on.
I had to...
Everybody huddle up. This is a team effort.
I had to play softball yesterday at 8 a.m., and I hated every moment of it.
Was it 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.?
It was 8 a.m., then our last game was at 1.
Wow.
Good thing it wasn't hardball. You'd be even more fucked.
I prefer baseball.
Really, I don't care what type of ball it is.
You're making it
all good,
but it wasn't a good joke.
It's killing me.
I wasn't going anywhere.
Okay, so let's
talk about things.
Yeah, let's open up with
I'm Chris, you're Joe, he's Miles.
What up?
Hello.
Double horns.
See, because I said hello after you, they're gonna think I'm Miles, so I can say anything, and they'll think that I'm you.
Just say whatever
I'm
you
a
want.
stupid dumbhead.
There we go.
Got him.
I guess you get to open. It's your turn to open the floor with sharing this week.
I get to open with. Oh yeah.
What have you been playing?
Doing. I've been playing better shit than all of you. I've been playing the same stuff though.
Oh yeah.
So.
I'm sorry.
Destiny's Foreskin came out. The new expansion.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking good.
Yeah, the Moyle brought it back.
Dude. Like it's like the Taken King, but better.
Is it Aldrin or Yuldrin? Yuldrin, right?
It's the stupid fairy elf princess.
Well, so what's his fucking name?
Little bitch.
Raven Man.
His name's Little Bitch. So he's so I guess we'll kind of do spoiler free for a bit.
Can you even spoil Destiny? Does that game have a story?
Yes. It's crazy in
Is
depth.
It in the game at this
It's
point?
all in the game. There's no grimoires.
It's EA Sports?
It's EA Sports. It's in the game.
Oh
So game opens up, fucking Prison of Elders, Cade gets shot in the face. We all cheered, we all laughed, we all had a good time. Finally, they killed the worst character in the fucking game.
He didn't get shot in the face.
Did he not?
No, he got shot in the chest.
You know, I saw that cutscene 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
They blew up his Peter Dinklage first, right? And then,
yeah. They Wesley sniped his fucking Peter right off, and then they shot him in the chest. So, but yeah, story stuff aside, which it was a good story. It was fun. There was some weird, like...
It wasn't all that compelling, but it was fun to do.
Yeah, I liked fighting all the barons.
Well, except for the one where I had to be on the speeder. That was no fun.
That was dumb.
Oh, it was annoying.
Well, it started off with a speeder, and then you got the tank, and I just sat on top of it the whole fucking time. Like, it didn't even give me a turret. Like, imagine how not fun that would be with 3 people. That's 2 people not using a tank.
So is there an actual spot for you to stand on the tank, or you were just on
I was just physically on the tank.
Okay.
Like, that was it.
Yeah,
it was dumb.
To stand on the tank.
And, like, our alt did more damage than the tank.
Oh, yeah, it did.
But the content that comes after the story is all pretty cool, because it introduces you to the Dreaming City, which is a whole new free roam area, which is very
I haven't been there yet.
Spooky and creepy. We're getting there soon. After we do the Petra quests, you'll be able to go to the Dreaming
How big
City.
is it compared to like some of the other areas?
It feels more like Titan.
So pretty small.
So small. But it doesn't play like Titan, where the frame rate shit the whole time. It has another, whatever, I don't know what they call escalation protocol, but it has another one of those, like super endgame, super tough, hard enemies, where everybody's just infinitely popping off ults because there's orbs everywhere and it's just a shit show. The new PvP fixes are all really good. Everybody's fast, 12 people on the map, just a shit show. The Gambit mode is really cool.
I like it more than the traditional PvP.
Yeah, it's like 4 versus 4, but you're not actually...
You're fighting waves of AI guys,
Yeah,
right?
you're competing for score, and then as you kill enemies, you get motes, and you shove those motes into the big pillar, and then the enemy's pillar can't get motes, and they have to fight a Taken dude for a bit. And the more motes you get, the bigger the Taken.
Have they introduced a new enemy class or faction yet?
Yes. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
But they have Screeves.
They have skis.
They have Screeves and they run at you and blow up. The new enemy class is really cool.
Is it like a class within an existing faction, or is it an all new faction?
I it doesn't play like any of the others. It doesn't feel like.
But
any
is
of
it
the
just
others.
like,
I
we
don't know
recolored the
story.
Fallen, we recolored...
No. There's like dudes that run at you with like flaming torches.
And then jump at you.
They have crazy snipers that are worse than any of the Vex sniping stuff. The hobgoblins. But you get a bow in the game, and the bow's a fucking demon.
Just Lara Croft Horizon Zero.
So
It's so good.
You've been playing a few more days than I have now. Have you found a replacement for the bow?
No, I just leveled it to 500. I fed because you can feed anything into the weapons now as long as it's in that class. So I fed it to 500. I did find another bow though. When a crit kills an enemy, they explode into whatever the element is. So it's just void all over the place, kind of like the Sunshot. But yeah, I guess this is still the first week of Forsaken.
What weapon are you maining?
So in the main slot, it's between my assault rifle and the bow. Second slot is that fire sidearm that I found. I liked Petra's, but the fire one just shoots so much faster. And for PvP, I found a pulse rifle that is 4-round burst.
Pulse rifle's actually viable now?
It melts people. I wouldn't use in PvP or in PvE ever, but PvP is good. And then I did find another cluster bomb rocket, so they just exist.
Okay.
It fires super fast.
That's still like the best kind of thing you can...
unless you're using like a tripped out line gun.
Right.
Have you found another trace linear gun?
No.
Or linear trace gun?
I don't know what they are.
Trace rifle?
Trace rifle sounds right.
Line gun, that's the Dead Space thing.
Yeah.
That thing was cool.
Shoots like a beam in Destiny.
A horizontal beam.
Doesn't do any horizontal
But
beams.
it's not a line gun.
Did you unlock the other class-specific alts?
That is a pain in the ass to do.
Did you do it?
I've done one other one.
The Void one?
Yeah, I got the Void one. You have to do the Escalation Protocol stuff and complete Tier 2, which is like 550 power level.
Yikes.
I'm not near that. I found some bros that were like super ripped though. And just fired my bow everywhere and prayed for the best.
I'm helping!
And alting did a lot of damage still, which is good, but...
Yo, that alt is dope.
Yeah.
Is the Void one cool?
No. No, it's really lame. You have to charge it up to use its explosion thing. So you can zip-zoop all over the place, but I was expecting it to be the Nova from Mass Effect, where you teleport through a wall and then just explode. But imagine you teleport and then you have to stand there charging up. So I just blow up in PvP. Like, everybody just hits me and I die. Because it's the exact same thing as the Hunter lightning beam thing, but they get to kill you instantly. You have to wait as a warlock. It just seems really stupid to me. Lightning is the best one. And then the fire circle is incredible if you're playing with more than 3 people.
Have they finished adding all the stuff they took out from Destiny 1 yet?
I think everything is there now. I don't know what else was missing.
Okay.
Or right now, where the game is feels better than where Taken King ever got to.
Okay. So it might be worth checking back in with. I don't know. I dropped hard at Destiny 2 last year. It was after Osiris. I was like, fuck this.
The Osiris was the worst expansion they've ever released. Like, worse than the Dark Below.
Oof. Yeah.
And then they put out Warmind, which I really enjoyed. The story for that, all 2 hours of it. Yeah. How long would you say it took us to beat Destiny 2? Like the main campaign.
The main campaign?
Yeah.
8 hours, if that.
Okay. Longer than my guesstimate.
What was yours?
5 hours.
Maybe it was 5.
I feel like my first playthrough of the campaign took me a while, but then again, I was doing like everything along the way.
We still have all of the side stuff on our map to do.
And at this point, it's relevant for you.
Yeah.
There's no point in doing it. So yeah, it's only relevant while you are...
It didn't feel relevant at the time either. Because there was no point in the game. Now, like, there's enough content, even without... Because I'm never going to put a team together for the raid. Even without doing the raid stuff, there's enough content there that I'm enjoying.
There's enough content that you'll be salty when Destiny 3 starts all over again.
Yes. Yeah. And at this point, like, I'll buy it right away and play it.
At this point, I won't. Because I don't trust them now.
Like, I know I'm going into it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Like, I bought Forsaken expecting it to be no better than
Yeah, you buy round
Osiris.
2 or
And it
3
actually-
of
It
release.
actually turned out to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, because the way they, I guess, I can't remember where I was reading it, but the way they do their development cycle is, like, Destiny 2 was being worked on and thrown out as a separate team was making the Taken King, which is why it had none of the Taken King content. So if that repeats, and there's none of the Forsaken...
Well, that's why both halves of the
evolution.
equation aren't able to pump out content fast enough, because they've divided and conquered. Destiny never should have been a multi-project game.
No.
Like, it should have been all hands on deck for one game that just gets bigger over time. But whatever, fuck y'all.
That's because they squeezed it onto 360 and PS3. And they have no excuse, because Destiny 2, although it does look better, there's no performance gain. There's nothing,
nothing
worth
about
it over the first one.
Yeah, it looks a little prettier. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I think it looks a lot prettier. Like
It does.
We can push it a lot further. Then, although I guess the parity between the platforms is, like, the console's running it at pretty high settings. They just refuse to accept that.
Shooters should be at a higher frame rate.
Yeah.
Like, for a 30 FPS game, it feels fine.
Yeah. But it could be 60.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, playing it at 90 frames on the computer, though, I think it would be hard to go from.
Yeah.
Then plus also the controller.
Yeah, I'll never be able to go back and enjoy Taken King stuff again. Because the only way I can play that is at a lesser frame rate.
Yeah, I guess at this point, there's no way they're ever going to put Destiny 1 on PC, right?
No, I doubt it. What I would, the day Destiny 3's announced, best case scenario would be it's all of 1 and 2 thrown together.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have faith that they're going to do that. I think it's just going to be start over again.
Yeah, it's going to be missing all of the Forsaken stuff. Like all of these tweaks and changes that we've gotten.
Yeah. And I just mean content-wise, too. It'll be like, different planets or different locations on the planets. Like, you're not going to be able to return to existing zones from the previous game.
Yeah.
Gotta throw it all out.
I can't even remember the zones from
Destiny 1.
Destiny 1 now.
It was the Cosmodrome, Russia.
Okay, that was good.
There was Mars, Venus.
Mars was terrible. Venus was awesome. And Moon was terrible. There's 2 good ones, 2 bad ones.
Mars, Venus, and what was the last one?
Moon.
Oh, yeah, Moon. That was the second one. Yeah, Mars was the last one.
Yeah, Mars was bad and Moon was boring.
Yeah. Well, there was the Dreadnought. And
the Dreadnought was amazing.
and there was that snowy place they put on Earth for the last expansion.
Still haven't played that stuff. And
I came to it late, and I played through the story of it, and it seemed fine. It was fun, but
I'll never be able to play it.
Ever.
That's so disappointing.
Ever.
But aside from Destiny stuff, Battlefield beta came out. And it's really fucking good.
It's fucking
it's
so much fun.
And I think the more I see people being salty and angry online about it, just the more thrilled I am. So that's part of my love for it, is because everybody online hates this now. I keep hearing things like, it's not where it should be, it's missing this, it's missing that.
I mean, isn't that a DICE game? Like, every time their games are always unfinished and broken and...
I don't think Destiny. I don't think DICE has launched a complete good working Battlefield game since Bad Company 2. Battlefield 3 was a shit show at launch.
Battlefield 4 was a bigger shit show.
I think Battlefield 4 was the worst launch for a game I've seen. Yeah. That game didn't work for 4 months.
I was going to say, Battlefield 3 took, a solid 8 months before it was finally oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and they still never fixed the console versions. They still have incredible amounts of latency.
I can't fathom
frame rate.
how Battlefront 2 came out and the story was all about the loot boxes and all that shit. And I came to that game, what was it, 8 months later or something like that? When they had removed, or they did their big update to change the economy to account for the lack of loot boxes and stuff. And it's okay, now it's probably a good time to check it out. It had literal 5-minute long loading times.
Yeah.
What the I never heard anyone say a word about that.
People are complacent. They're happy with dealing with it, which is actually hilarious because Battlefield 1 had absolutely terrible loading times as well. Yeah. This Battlefield is the fastest loading Battlefield I've ever played. It's not on my SSD. It's on my normal hard drive. We load into maps.
It takes 30 seconds, I think, from the time you...
So what's changed? They're using Frostbite, right?
I don't know, nothing. It must be the way they draw the map, the way they pull everything in, assets wise. But it's amazing because there's a weird bug in the game where if you get revived by somebody
after receiving critical damage,
you get stuck in a spawn loop and you can't spawn in. I was able to leave the game, join back in, before just after Miles had spawned back into the game.
Wow, so it's that fast.
Yeah, it seemed...
Now, though, like I was saying to you before, though, do you feel that that's because that's the beta itself? Do you think the game's actually going to be like that?
Who knows what's going to happen when there's more maps for it to try and load and draw in. But it seems like it loads faster. And this, like, these 2 maps that are in the game are 2 of the best maps I've... Like, I hate Battlefield maps.
That's part of why I've never liked Battlefield. I never liked
They've just
map
been
design.
Massive open shitscapes. Like, it's disgusting. Battlefield 3 was the last game that I think had good map design, to a degree. There was Firestorm, and that's where Caspian Border came from, which are 2 of the worst maps I've ever fucking played.
Unless you
like
jet.
the vehicle stuff and the jets, yeah.
Jet enthusiast.
Yeah, like there's people like that, but you can't run around and enjoy that map. You're just gonna get shot. But the new map, Rotterdam.
Rotterdam's the town.
It feels like, I don't know, like CN Crossing mixed with like Pearl Market.
Like there's an excellent blend of short, mid, and then long range engagements.
Like if you're along the outside of the map, that's the big open area where you're going to get sniped.
That makes sense.
There's buildings kind of like in a block around everything with like a little town center here and then a canal in the middle. And you can just like run and jump. Like we swam across the canal numerous times and were never once killed and shot in it.
Huh.
It feels like the engagements are where DICE has pushed them to happen. Like there's a building in the bottom right corner. I guess in the map it's the top right corner. And everybody fights
for B.
Is it B's the building over here, D's the building over here, or the other way around?
Yeah, no, you're right.
And to get from one side to the other, there's like this big open area, or you can jump through the canal along the boats and stuff. But it's amazing. We were holding like B building, and there's people just like running down the street. And it's like, hey, free kills because it's just sprinting down the middle. Like the movement speed seems to be in the right spot. The way bullets hit people seems to be in the right spot. It never felt like I was like spawned in and then killed from something I didn't know was there, which is Battlefield in a nutshell.
There were a few times where we would spawn on D, and unfortunately you spawn right along the dock, and you take a step out, and there, of course, were guys watching the spawns with snipers, and like I got sniped right away. Like that did happen a few times, but it wasn't the extent that Battlefield 1 seemed to be, where I just get fucking sniped.
Like the map that we all played together in Battlefield 1 was that desert map.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. It's one of the worst maps I've ever seen.
You got guys on the rock thing up on the top, and all they did was just sit there and shoot you.
Like tanks just sitting in the town.
Yeah. When you said guys running down the street like in groups or whatever, that made me think, how cool would it be if Battlefield did the Titanfall thing, where there's tons of other players, but also just AI guys like
that would be
filling out the map as well.
That'd be
like,
really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I want grunts to mow through. I think that's probably my favorite thing about Titanfall is that the maps felt so alive and full of action constantly. There was no downtime because there were all these AI dudes.
I think that's the only thing that would get me back into Overwatch at this point.
Yeah.
The fact that game isn't treated like a MOBA and is treated like a shooter.
Yeah, if there's a MOBA mode in Overwatch, that'd be tight.
Yeah.
And then also your issue is like how strong some of the characters really are, like Junkrat.
No ult should kill in one hit. And that's been my problem with Destiny's PvP right now is I'm killed because he was in the match long enough to get a thing that kills me instantly. Like, that's fucking stupid.
And now it's your turn to do it!
Yeah. And, like, when I get my ult, I'm just like, alright, right place, right time.
It's kind of like why I never cared for Final Smashes as well. It's like, oh, item spawned, happened to spawn near him, he breaks it, one hit killing everybody. It's like, okay.
As soon as they announced that you can earn it, I was like, now I'm more compelled.
And it's weaker.
Yeah. I feel like if Overwatch and Destiny's ults in the PvP, specifically for Destiny, was more... I don't like the Hunter's Bow is the one that I like understand the most. Like, it slows people down and then does some dot damage, and you can get the fuck out of it. But every other thing in the game is... It's like, who would use that in the game? Like, be the hunter thing that kills people instead, because you're just going to get free kills.
Yeah, because the new one, right, where it throws knives?
Yeah.
Or fire.
Fire knives.
Well, while you're talking about Battlefield, do you want to just jump the gun on one of the news stories that I pulled?
Oh, sure.
Battlefield 5's profanity filter.
Oh, yeah.
Did you test any of that?
No,
I've seen
I
other
haven't.
people have,
I haven't
so
played
it
it
does
since...
seem to be corroborated.
Well, we weren't really typing ever.
Yeah.
Like,
So some of the words that they block out include white, DLC, and Nazi in your World War II shooter game.
Walk out Nazi.
But I mean, like to kind of go against that though, every war that was fought during World War II, or every battle, there wasn't always Nazis, right?
I know, but
a large part of it was just the German Republican Army. Like they weren't all Nazis.
It is just funny to see them be like, you can't say Nazi.
But I mean, like
in this World War II.
You can't even like pick like a special class that is a Nazi. Like that, it just doesn't make. It's not in the game.
But why would they ban the use of a word that doesn't mean anything in the game? In that case, like why?
And white.
Yeah, white. Yeah, can I say black?
Yep. Yeah, because at first people thought it was white man that was banned, but it turns out it's just the word white. Because you can say black man, brown man, yellow man. Like
that is a profanity filter that.
And apparently you can type free DLC, you can't type DLC.
What if I put D space L space?
No, they actually accounted for that. You can do lowercase.
D that point
I think they've accounted for that as well.
What if I do D underscore L underscore C? Like,
maybe.
I'll fucking figure it out. What if I do D, that stupid just line, and then I'll put like a fucking bracket? That looks like
the thing that
DLC.
blows my mind is there ever a time where you're typing the stuff into chat that means anything? Like, I don't know. Half of the fun I had in Battlefield 1 was the text chat, talking with people and just making it just an absolutely disgusting mess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of those are ever topics of... Like, no one ever typed Nazi. No one ever types...
Yeah. And, like, I don't know, I get...
You'd see the more consistent, like, swear words. Like
yeah, I'd get blocking swear words if you really cared. Then again, this game is rated 17+.
Yeah.
We're all adults. We're all supposed to be adults here, so... Or just about... So what's the issue with cursing?
Yeah.
You can't curse!
And, like a censorship, like, if you're gonna censor things and try and block stuff out... The only actual way to do it is to make Splatoon 2.
Yeah, have no communications at all.
Like, you cannot stop people from being shitheads. People will always... Like, regardless of what's happening. I think we talked in the last podcast about, like, the difference between trolling and...
Can you voice chat in Splatoon 2?
No.
No.
You cannot communicate, period.
You might be able to communicate with friends through their app, I think.
Yes, that you can do. But that's... Like, just friends.
Yeah.
So it prevents communication.
And good luck adding someone to the friend list, because you have to decrypt some, like, friend list code thing.
I don't want to Switch.
I don't know how it works.
Sounds complicated.
Switch is not a social platform. It is a single-player video game console.
It blows my mind that Nintendo has the base for the greatest, like, social machine and refuses to use it for anything other than...
I don't think they know how.
No.
And they don't want to hire anybody that does. Because any idea that's not theirs is bad.
And, like, for the longest time, I'm just like, Nintendo, Japanese developer, you know how they are. But there's some Japanese developers that are just fucking getting it lately.
Yep.
Not Sony.
Sony refuses to. Sony's... Not gonna start. Not gonna start.
We know better, though! Like, we pretended like we didn't when the generation started because that endeared you to us and you bought our system, but now that we're on top again, we know better.
Well,
we know better.
We like just think Sony's the best platform to play it on.
Sony hasn't...
Makes a lot of sense.
Sony hasn't changed since, like, the launch of the PS3. They just stayed quiet the whole fucking
Well, it's like they promoted up a bunch of people that would get them into the position... Like, that would help them win hearts and minds, and then all those people slowly left the company.
Yeah.
And now we're back down to...
Yeah, I guess I forgot, like, over the past, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Everybody's left?
Not everybody, but, like, a lot of the people that were taking to the stage and were personalities and were the kind of the warm face of the company.
Yeah.
All gone.
So now they're just stuck with robots.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Sony just...
Mark Sony, come on.
Alright, on to the next playing...
Yeah, what else have you been playing? Or are you done? That's it, Destiny.
I'm sure I've been playing something else, I can't remember.
Alright, Miles.
I've been playing Destiny and Battlefield with him, but we already talked about that.
Old news!
And I've continued playing more Dead Cells, because I don't feel like playing anything else right now, because hockey is only a week away now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Dead Cells is really fun. I found a thing where you can literally throw fireballs, and it made me extremely excited.
Cool.
And then I died by the thing I was trying to get it from, and then I fucking raged, and I threw my controller across my room.
And now you need a new roller.
No, fortunately I throw it right at pillows so it doesn't break.
That's a good idea.
You get like a padded target zone.
Thinking ahead.
And then I fought the final boss in the game, and that fight is garbage and fucking shit, and it's the first fight that made me fucking super excited.
Are you telling me they left this game in early access for years and then rushed out the final boss and had
Brother.
no idea what they were doing?
Brother.
That doesn't sound like an indie developer.
I should have brought, you know what, I should have brought my PlayStation, I should have got to that fight and then handed you the controller.
Are you telling me
Have
the
fun.
Switch port is broken? What?
I don't know anything about any other console for Dead Cells. I'm just saying the final boss is a broken piece of shit.
Dead Cells is another one of those games that is praised endlessly by the ignorant masses.
And I found
It's good,
found out
It
that
is.
there are there's a
It
5
has good things.
There's a 5-scale difficulty chart.
Hey.
Um
You hate the Switch version.
I do.
and I'm not thrilled to do that boss fight on the 5th hardest.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna do it. So.
What difficulty are you on?
Just regular.
Is that the 1 star? Or is that
No,
like...
that's 0. It's nothing.
Oh, it goes... Oh. I don't like that.
Yeah, there are 4 stem cells that you have to get.
Do you get Riptor, though?
No. Or not to my knowledge.
They do.
Yeah.
I think enemies just do more damage. You take more damage.
That's the laziest form of difficulty scaling.
That's the only form of difficulty.
And-
With the numbers.
And the fucking trophy system, right? I was scrolling through it to see it, and they were like,
Wait, you can block missiles?
well, yeah, you can. But,
Okay, not that trophy system.
I mean, yeah, you can if you have a shield. But like one of the ones is to beat the whole game with the cursed sword. Have you ever touched a cursed chest yet?
Yes.
Right, and then it applies. So if you're using the cursed sword, you automatically die after one hit. I was like, that's not possible.
So to beat the whole game without getting hit.
Yep. I can't even beat one of the bosses without being
You
hit.
gotta be a nimble thimble.
Oh, I'm nimble. I roll. Like,
Nimble is all
You gotta
AF.
be nimbler.
I roll like a motherfucker.
You gotta be nimble out of 10.
I'm just curious, if you're using the sword and you block something, does that technically count as taking damage?
Oh, because you don't most of the shields.
Right?
Yeah,
You-
you blocks like 70% or 80% of the damage.
Does
No,
that
it's
still
all-
technically count as taking damage?
I would guess.
Okay, so then there's no point using a shield.
Unless you can parry perfectly every time, but
What if you take 2 bows and dual wield them?
Yeah,
You
honestly,
get 2 more arms.
honestly, I found that as a build on the internet. So I was rolling dual bows. I was like, that seems extremely.
The never get hit thing. Oh, I guess you can't carry the sword then if you have 2 bows.
But I mean, like, you just spam triangle and square over and over again. The explosive crossbow always does critical damage every single time you hit somebody.
That's cool.
So then maybe use it in combination with the ice bow and freeze shit. Then throw fucking ice bombs at shit. I don't know.
Traps.
Anyway, I'm salty about the last fight and I haven't got over it yet.
I'm salty about the Switch
So.
port.
it should have been great. It should have been great!
And then
But it runs like poopy. And the whole situation with the developers, too, where they were like, oh, yeah, like, you know, if people complain about it, maybe we'll fix it. It's like, what?
So with that statement, they've acknowledged it's broken.
Like, they knew that it wasn't good.
also, I think they changed the name for there's Stilt Town, I think it is, and it used to be called Fog Fjord, which I think sounds way fucking
Why
cooler.
did they change that?
Or it's just
Censorship.
or
It was
it's,
dice.
or it's just like Delica that I don't have that's just within the game. I don't know. I haven't updated it yet.
I wonder
so-
if there is any Delica for it. Is there?
Don't know.
Delica sounds like the name of a song by Camelot.
Yeah. Or Delica did a song called Camelot.
Yeah.
So-
Wait, is there a band called Delica?
No.
Okay.
That's what our band's gonna be called now.
Yeah.
I thought we were
Just
Glock and a
DLC.
half.
Clock and a half.
Yeah.
Good boy.
So I'm super excited for that to beat that eventually. We were playing some Diablo 3 again, but dip back into that,
Yeah.
and it was a blast. Crusader cannot do ZDPS build
Nope.
at
Not
all.
alone. Holy fuck.
And we rolled through, what was it, T13 is 2 Demon Hunters, had a blast. Just
Yeah.
fucking, we erased the whole screen with one right click.
Yeah.
Demon Hunters are OP as fuck.
It was always my favorite one. Well, not always, but it was.
Hey, did you finish your Impale build?
Yeah.
And?
My wizard does more damage still.
Well, yeah, but...
You seem to...
No, like I have like a primal Corellia's.
Oh.
Yeah, no, like my wizard does like exponentially more damage.
So then...
You seem disappointed by that.
I'm very disappointed. Well, it's supposed to be like the highest single DPS build in the fucking game.
Well, on the first hit though, right? Impale.
Yeah, no,
it
no,
only
I'm
does
hitting
critical damage.
I'm hitting gold
upon
guys
the first hit, and you're only doing like half health, right?
Not even, no. Like my wizard melts things like on rifts way higher.
All right, so then we'll play as my non-ZDPS Crusader. You be your wizard, and let's see how far we make.
Yeah, that seems like the way to go.
Just kidding. I'll be my...
You need to make like a Z monk or something.
No, I'll just continue with my Z Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
I'll play Diablo on PC sometime.
Will you?
It'll
Maybe.
It'll be dead by then.
Do you want to like push Greater Rifts?
You have to teach me.
It's really easy.
It is.
Although it's going to be tough with kind of lower Paragon level, right? You need to be at least 500 before you can start pushing.
We can do that in like 2 days.
Just ferry me through some shit.
Do you want to just play Diablo with us for like 2 days straight?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
We'll stream it.
Yeah, Paragon 500 should be easy.
Well,
Paragon 800 is when you start getting main stats.
Call it the Buff Me Boys stream.
Well, especially if we're rolling through P13 or higher, right? Like it's.
Oh, we'll
it's
do like
experience
Greater
of the
Rift
asshole.
80s.
I still need to grind out Greater.
Would you call those
Keystone.
Grady's?
Grady's.
Greater Rift Keystone.
Grady Rifts.
The great 80s.
And Dust Breaths. It is impossible.
Yeah. Make you a sage set and get you some death breaths.
Those are
Although you already
yours.
have a character leveled on PC.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Probably. Can you guess who this the mystery? Anything else,
and
Miles?
then... No, that's it. Sorry, not enthusiastic. I'm still salty about Dead Cells.
Alright, well I guess I'm up. I haven't been playing anything completely different. I finished Yakuza Kiwami.
Which was fucking insane.
That game just got more and more silly.
Did you finish your Majima?
No, I kind of just wanted to beeline it toward the end of it.
Get done with that trash.
Although Majima gets integrated into the story in some really good ways, where he'll just interrupt stuff that's happening and be like, I'm here now, fight me, which is kind of great. May or may not involve driving a garbage truck into a building at some point.
So I'm starting to get the sense that Majima just becomes a hindrance more than anything.
He's fun though. Like I never was annoyed by his arrival. Like even the on the street stuff where I'd fight him, it got to the point where I wouldn't even see him and I'd get the little Metal Gear alert like he saw where I was, and then it would show a scene of him like slinking behind my back. And he'd like pop up and be like, alright, fight time. So it's just all the time.
He seems like a good character.
Yeah. And yeah, having played Zero, I just appreciate his character so much more, seeing that descent, which is cool.
Yeah, how was like Yakuza, like how did that exist without Zero? Is what blows my mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like even in Kiwami 2 at this point, it seems like like this current era of remaking Yakuza is benefiting a lot from them having done Zero. And I think I get the sense that when they did Yakuza 1 on the PS2 and then Yakuza 2 and then all the way through the PS3 and stuff, they may have come to later regret where they started story-wise.
Yeah.
And also they probably just weren't as experienced in the story they wanted to tell in that world. They hadn't fleshed it out.
Started with a sequel.
Kind of, yeah. That's the sense I get. Like, I never played the original Yakuza, so I don't know how much of what I played in Kiwami was adapted more or less straight from the original or was completely changed.
Right.
But I can't imagine having played this game without having played Zero. Like, none of its story would have made sense in comparison.
You kind of have to earn, like, caring for characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it seems like Zero is the one that did that.
And even beyond that, though, like, even though it made more sense having played Zero, the end of that game, it just gets more and more batshit. Like, it just straight up turns into Metal Gear Solid by the end of it, fighting guys coming out of helicopters on the top of buildings and...
Big military voice.
Yeah, it was good, though. So I'm glad I finished that.
And you started Kiwami too.
Yeah! I started Kiwami. Well, the reason I was trying to not rush it, but like finish it up is because Spider-Man was coming out, and I wanted to try a bit of Kiwami 2 as well. I really want to play Kiwami 2 to completion, and I'm probably going to go a lot. I'm going to do more of that game this time. I'm going to spend more time with it. But yeah, Kiwami 2 right off the bat, what a huge upgrade for the most part. Like performance-wise, yes, you take a hit. Zero and Kiwami were 60 FPS.
Take a hard hit.
Yeah.
Like it's a rough 30.
Yeah, but it is a massive technical upgrade on every other front.
It looks gorgeous.
Just animation-wise and lighting, texture detail, model detail.
The Dwagon engine seems like a very capable.
It's really cool. The particles coming off of you as you're beating stuff.
Kind of a shame it's not being used for Fists.
Fist of the North Star. Yeah, it might be hard going back to it, but I will appreciate the performance stuff again, because Fist of the North Star is going to be on the Zero engine, so it'll be 60 FPS and all good. I'm not going to be ready for Fist of the North Star, though, by the time that comes out.
Yeah, that I'm going to have to buy, because it's just going to fucking disappear.
Yeah, I'll be buying it regardless.
And then just set it aside for a while.
Yeah. Because the other game I've been playing is Spider-Man. Although I might already be almost done that.
Yeah, you're fucking 66% of the way through the game.
And that's partially because the night I got it, I spent a good 5 or 6 hours playing it way too late into the night.
You should probably beat this guy, return it, and buy it cheaper later.
I already had it all. I got all my shit paid off for the season, so
save you $30.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I played all day yesterday as well. It was. It's a blur. The movement in that game feels really good. It's like Sunset Overdrive on roids, which makes sense because it's Insomniac. It's 30 FPS, but it's the good kind. It's responsive.
It's
frame paced properly. They have the inoffensive, good kind of motion blur, what you call per pixel motion blur. Even at its max setting, it's subtle. Yeah. It's not overbearing.
It tends to blur. Like for movement, it's character movement, and then when you're swinging around the map, it's the peripheral vision. Like everything stays focused in the middle.
Yeah, it gives a good sense of speed to everything.
And if you don't like it, you can turn it off.
You can turn it off, and the game looks fine without it too. Like it wasn't hiding performance issues or whatever, like a lot of games do.
I don't know why Insomniac just decided to learn this now.
Well,
which game do you have in mind?
The last Ratchet & Clank game that came out is literally unplayable. Like, I cannot play that game. I beat it.
But you can't play it.
I'm gonna feel like I felt sick after playing through it because the motion blur is so offensive. And it's screen space motion blur. So the whole fucking thing is just...
Vaseline.
Yeah.
I get the sense that Spider-Man was the first game of theirs that had real money behind it. Like, I wonder this game looks expensive.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is Sony, here's some money, don't fuck it up.
It wasn't, here's some money. It's, here's all the money, and we're going to keep putting all the money into it until it's not fucked up.
Because it's Spider-Man. And it seems like it's selling well, getting good reviews.
Yeah. It just feels good to move around. It looks beautiful, except for people on boats that have bucket heads.
And 64 guys.
You're not supposed to actually get up to them.
Out in boats.
But if you get close enough and go in photo mode, you can look at their smeared...
Making those N64 characters is my programming skills.
Somebody got paid to
they collabed with me.
We need more.
Put in this character. We need characters
like
to fill up
lowest LOD characters.
I got this.
Did they collab with you for this?
Yeah, I made all the money.
They went to the internet and they're like, we need N64 level.
Yeah, I found it on
character modelers.
The second that they posted. I was like,
you need guys that die when they drop their guns. I got this. But yeah, the combat's great. Movement feels great. The story is actually really cool so far. I don't know. I have nothing bad to say against the game except for the first thing you pointed out when I showed it to you, which was the UI, the font. It just looks so Ratchet and Clank PS2.
Yeah, and I was thinking back to it, man, Ratchet and Clank had shit UI. Nah, Crack in Time was really good.
Yeah.
Why is this...
Deadlocks wasn't too bad either, actually.
Whatever. If it's the worst thing you can say about the game, big deal. But, that first menu and the first time you pause... Just
the loading menu's like Ratchet and Clank PS2. And
it's
the in-game menu is prototype.
Yeah. It's responsive and it conveys the information. It's all functional and fine. It's just... It looks bad. I don't like it. It looks
There's a reason, none of the... leading up to the game, none of the menu was ever shown.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of it.
Speaking of bad-looking things, alternate outfits in the game.
There is some gnarly alternate outfits. Chris seems super against the... What were we calling it? The Nike sneakers one?
Yeah.
Where it's like glowing blue.
Well, it's like negative colors with these weird, like, China don't care bootleg action figure gauntlets on it.
Yeah, this is Spoder Boy. This isn't Spider-Man.
Yeah. It looks like a toy you'd find at a dollar store in Shanghai. Like,
it's choice. Like, absolute choice.
But yeah, I have nothing really. I don't know what to say about the game other than it's good.
5 out of 10, 30 FPS.
Yeah. It'd be better if it was
instantly a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
As good as the 30 FPS is for 30 FPS. It would be obviously better.
It's a shame next gen
Wouldn't it be
seems to
amazing
lean
if it was
towards...
120 frames per second? You're whipping around the whole city.
It seems like
your phone's making boops.
Seems like Microsoft is going
more on the performance side of things.
Yeah, than Sony is. Which that's no different. Like Sony, the PS3 generation was like, hey, push resolution, fuck frame rate. Like, remember Uncharted's frame rate?
Yeah.
What frame rate? There wasn't. It was negative.
Yeah, the only time it ever had a frame rate was when Bluepoint got a hold of it and did the collection.
Yeah.
My God, it's like 60 frames per second.
Naughty Dog's always had really bad...
I guess The Last of Us
frame rate?
Remastered was okay on PS4.
When you unlocked it.
Yeah. I didn't say great, it was okay.
You could unlock the frame rate for it, right?
On the PS4 one, you could get it closer to 60.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the PS4 Pro maybe achieves that.
Probably, yeah, actually.
Did we play it on a regular PlayStation 4?
Yeah, I think it was pre-Pro.
Yeah.
We should play it again then on PS4 Pro.
We could.
Well, you could let me.
I am due for a replay of that game. It is good.
I want to play it.
I get really angry at a lot of the mechanical decisions in that game.
No, you don't.
I was livid.
There aren't 18 videos on YouTube
of me losing my fucking mind. I get mad at every game. Simply because the developers chose something that I wouldn't have done. And clearly I should be the game. Like, it's nonsense. It's just me.
I was too busy.
Actually,
you played that one. I was still bitching at things in that game.
Speaking of bitching and getting angry at things, one other thing I want to say about Spider-Man is I love what they've done with J. Jonah Jameson's character. Instead of like the raging newspaper guy.
Bitching sense.
Yeah. Instead of the raging newspaper guy, the story of this is that he's retired from the newspaper business and he has his own podcast now, and they've literally made him the Alex Jones of the Spider-Man universe.
Which is fantastic.
Alex Jones is great.
He is
the best character for real life.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god, he's so angry and everything's just like, Spider-Man's kidnapping pigeons and Nazis made of bees! And I bet he's in cahoots with the government to spread chemtrails and subdue society. Like, I just...
as Alex Jones as it gets.
Yeah. Like, you'll be doing missions to, like, there's side missions where you'll do these different science projects at outposts, and it's like, oh, this one, you're going to swing through clouds of smog to get samples so that you can find out what's generating them, and blah, 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 blah. And then you'll get a podcast later from J. Jonah Jameson saying, like, saw him swinging through smoke clouds. I bet he's responsible for the clouds. And why would he put the clouds there, you might ask? Well, I bet it's so that he can get police to show up and be concerned with it so that he can do crime elsewhere. Like, it's just... everything's Spider-Man. Everything's...
Come on, man. A little too much.
Oh, it's good. I still haven't even seen all the podcasts, and I've got like 50... 30-second to minute-long episodes unlocked at this point. There's a lot of them in the game, and you can turn it off if you want.
But seems why would you? That their attention to the world.
There's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah.
Because it seems like those podcasts will play at contextual events. Because for instance, while you were watching me play
through the game without triggering
a bunch of them. Because like while you were watching me play, I put on the punk rock outfit for a little bit, which I hadn't used before, and moments later got a podcast where he was like, "So it's bad enough seeing Spider-Man in his most recent outfit, but then I saw him in a rocker outfit. I bet there's more than one Spider-Man, and they're all shitheads." Or it's just. It actually responds to it. Even stuff like, while you're having conversations with people over the phone, they've recorded multiple tracks of the game so that Spider-Man will sound one way if he's standing still or walking, or a different way if he's like actively swinging and moving. He'll be like exerting his voice.
That's one thing, like,
literally
movies
no
don't
game
even
does.
do.
Yeah.
Like, that's an attention to detail.
What are you talking about? They're running. You sound fine when you run through a forest while being shot at. You know what you sound like.
That was one thing that always... what fucking Avengers was it where they opened up in that forest?
The second one, I think.
Yeah.
Second one?
Age of Ultron.
Go back, watch that, whoever's fucking listening. And pay attention to Widow talking. And how nothing is skewed. Her voice, she's always just fine talking. Like, unless that's her character, I guess. I don't know.
She's not doing anything.
Like, no characters are exerting any energy at all. No one's, and the sound design is incredibly important. When there was the one that offends me, like actively offends me, is when there's people sitting in a club and there was like ear-raping music like going off, and they're sitting there talking to each other like, so what are we gonna do about the situation, man? And it's like, no, you can't hear it. You have to be screaming at each other to fucking hear each other. Sound is important.
Yeah.
It's immersive breaking, but yeah, Spider-Man seems like...
See, the thing that it's a concept that you clearly can't understand, because they all have earpieces on that they didn't conveniently
and
show
nanomachines.
Nanomachines, they're linked. They actually they need
telepathically linked.
That was one of the cooler parts of that Ghost in the Shell movie, where they had their telepathic thoughts or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Communications, that stuff was cool.
It's a government conspiracy. That's
government.
Can't happen.
Spider-Man's taking your bread.
Well, that's the next step, because nobody has inner thoughts. They're all gonna be spreading it with nanomachines.
Bunch of NPCs
spawning in and out of existence.
Nanomachines.
Nanomachines.
I guess the other thing I had to say about Spider-Man is I really like the story setup they have. It's kind of Arkham style, where it's not based on any one version of Spider-Man before, like previous games or movies.
They're just like glue it all together.
Kind of glue it all together. This is a Spider-Man that's been at it for 8 years.
Grizzled veteran, 78 years old.
But the thing is, they still have... It's not like he's seen it all and done it all before, though, because like while there are villains that he references that he's tussled with before, like Rhino and Vulture and Scorpion and Shocker.
Have you seen any of these?
I have tussled with Shocker and Taskmaster. I don't know. And Mr. Negative, I guess.
I don't think I know Taskmaster.
His whole thing is that I think he's like a larger, just Marvel guy.
He trains dogs.
Well, yeah. No, his whole thing is that if he sees someone do a move, he can do it. Kind of thing. Just
cool.
Kind of interesting. Okay. Yeah. So he's
just a copycat.
If you show up in your rocker thing and start doing rock moves,
maybe
can you start the best band?
Maybe that's actually
guitar off.
Yeah.
Now that I mention it, I really haven't had a lot of engagement with supervillains over the course of the game so far. It's been mostly minor crimes. So maybe it'll escalate toward the end of the game, or maybe there just is not as much of that as there
DLC.
Yeah, DLC.
The Fire Season Pass.
But I do think it's cool though how they established that Spider-Man hasn't seen and done everything yet. Like Mr. Negative is new to him. Like he's like the guy who is Mr. Negative was like a friend and mentor to Spider-Man. Dr. Octopus isn't a thing yet because he works under Dr. Otto Octavius at his lab, and they're like struggling to get funding for their projects because it's going to change the world and all that stuff. But you're seeing the slow descent of this character.
How much of this do you think is sequel setup?
That would be a real bummer if none of that. If Dr. Octopus doesn't materialize by the end of the game.
Or maybe it's Dilica.
Yeah. Well, they did announce that they're going to be doing a... Yeah, it was censored.
Yeah, there's a Black Cat DLC coming.
Yeah, like a three set thing.
No.
How much is the season pass?
I don't know, I haven't checked. I'll probably buy it. Because I do really like the game. But yeah, I like some stuff I don't expect them to put in the game, like Venom and Carnage. As much as I'd love to see them, that's sequel territory.
Make a Venom game.
Yeah,
using all of this stuff.
Ooh.
Just it's exactly the same, but I can kill civilians.
There was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Venom doesn't really do that either, though.
But I'm playing as Venom, and I will be doing.
Okay, well,
did you ever play?
Carnage.
There was like PS2 game.
That could be evil, sure.
Yeah. There was an Ultimate Spider-Man game where you played half the game as Venom. I remember that being pretty cool. I can't remember if you could eat people or not.
On what?
There's like GameCube, PS2.
I think you could like absorb bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I played any GameCube.
His whole thing was I don't think he swung. Spider-Man. He would just like super jump everywhere was his thing.
Prototype.
I used to play a lot of that, actually, and I can't remember much.
It's a very forgettable game.
It was forgettable. This game's great. I really
I think
enjoy
I
it.
need this game.
It's good
I
stuff.
like the combat. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, the combat's
for,
very
uh,
Arkham, but even more flashy.
I'm gonna wait for a used one.
No, I'm gonna wait for the used one.
I don't want to support the developers. I hate Insomniac. Have I ever said that?
Yeah, maybe not on mic, but
I hate Insomniac. They're so this is our way and our game. Fuck yourself. And it's like, well, okay. At least this one seems like all their decisions are right.
well, I don't know how much of it was their decisions. I bet they had a ton of oversight from Sony.
Yeah, because it seems like a lot of the decisions they're making are a lot of the same ones I see like in God of War, and I'm wondering how much freedom the God of War guys had. Like, you can remove motion blur, you can unlock the frame rate. There's a handful of stuff in God of War where I wouldn't have played and enjoyed if it had been like without those things.
These are the types of things I want to see standard in all games.
Well, I mean, not only how much influence they got from Sony, how much influence from Marvel itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Like the Marvel Cinematic Studios.
You have to hit certain beats in order for...
It is interesting.
It would be very important with the way that they're going with Spider-Man and Homecoming and stuff. Like,
What was Insomniac's last thing?
Sunset Overdrive.
Ratchet and Clank was before that?
I think so. Maybe it was after.
Sunset Overdrive had performance issues.
Yeah, didn't run super great. But yeah, regarding the Marvel Cinematic Universe side, Marvel Studios, this is the first, to my knowledge, like any Marvel related game that straight up like, look at the screen over there. It says Marvel's Spider-Man. It has their like even the case of the game. It has the Marvel logo above Spider-Man. This has like their stamped like seal of approval on it.
Is this the first Marvel game since Disney took over?
Can't be. I don't know.
Can you think of another?
haven't there been like Marvel versus Capcom games?
I guess
Oh, Thor: Dark World.
maybe.
But that wasn't Marvel's Thor.
Yeah. But it might have been a quality thing too. Maybe they saw this game and they were like, "Hey, we'll put our name on that. That's gonna be some tight shit."
Well, I mean, and then the Spider-Man out of all the superheroes is the one that the kids like the most anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody likes
So
Spider-Man.
that's why it makes sense for them to use Spider-Man as maybe the poster child for a list of games.
I like how Spider-Man's one of those superheroes that just gets the absolute shit kicked out of him. Like, you can visually see him torn apart and just keeps
Well, I mean,
Spider-Man.
the whole
I loved that in the Tobey Maguire, the second movie.
He's very quippy in the game as well.
the whole like Spider-Man's whole thing is that it's not like he's invincible. He always gets the shit kicked out. He just wins the war, right? Like, he always wins the final fight.
Yeah, a lot of superheroes.
It's like Batman, right? Like, they're basically the same character.
Like Thor, like, he got his eye cut in the movie, and it's like, ooh, no, my hammer's broken. Woe is me.
I think the appealing thing about Spider-Man is even more than Batman. Even more than Batman, Spider-Man has shit to lose as well.
That was one thing I liked about the Christopher Nolan Batbane.
Yeah.
Like, he lost everything, including, like, his body. Like, he was torn apart.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't in the movie for the next 2 hours. And then he came back and did some cool stuff. But
yeah, Spider-Man's always had a more interesting balance between Peter Parker, like non-superhero persona.
Peter Man is Spider-Man.
Peter Man and Spider Parker.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, Peter Parker's already a reasonably compelling character. Like, Bruce Wayne generally isn't.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, because Peter Parker isn't, like, a multi-billionaire. Like, he's just a kid, usually.
Yeah.
He just works, and then he has Spider-Man on the side, right?
Yeah.
I do like how over time they've made him more and more and more of a genius in the story of the game, story of the content. Like, in the original comics, he was just a reporter guy, right?
And
No,
like,
he's always...
Has he always been, like,
he's
super
always been
smart?
even in the
yes.
Tobey Maguire one, like, he was just a smart university guy. He wasn't, like, genius levels.
The normal...
He didn't even invent his spider jizz. Like, he was spider jizz.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, but usually with Spider-Man, though, he is of genius IQ. Right? Because
Was that even-
I thought that was established, like later on.
No, like, usually he makes
I guess
his
he-
suit.
I guess he did make the web fluid in the first.
He made his web fluid. He made the shooters for it. Like, he did all
So
that by
it
himself.
was just Tobey Maguire, that fucking asshole.
No, okay, they were going for a more emotional approach. And
I was emotionally attached.
Listen,
to
every time he
Sandman.
cried and I laughed,
And then it was pizza time.
Sorry, I didn't touch that.
And that was pizza time. Yeah. That was a video. That was some nonsense.
Hey man, you can't hamp on Tobey Maguire. He did the best he could.
No, I like those movies.
That wasn't.
Yeah,
Those
I like those first. You know what?
The third one was the stretch. You were like, okay, this
Spider-Man
is
3 is great in hindsight
Like-
because of just how special it is.
Yeah, like the thing that upset me about that movie, I was like, oh yeah, Venom, and then I was like, oh no,
Oh no!
what did you
Venom.
do? But that whole sequence at the end where it's just a battle royale, like they did it before
Silly.
PUBG, like it is some nonsense, and I'm like, this is it.
Goblins there, Venom's there,
Like-
Spider-Man's there.
Dave Franco's there.
Stupid fucking Dave Franco. I will say, as much of a shit movie as Spider-Man 3 is, they nailed Sandman in it.
Yeah,
He was perfect.
Yeah.
That depiction of that character was on the fucking ball.
I was emotionally attached to that character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did a really good job of making him. Yeah, I liked it.
Because you see, he had a sick daughter, so that justifies everything.
Yeah. Murder thousands. Look, I'd murder 1,000 people to
I
save.
mean, he wasn't even really murdering people. He was just stealing money. Like,
And sanding
That's
them.
all he was doing.
He sanded them down.
He just would happen to hurt police officers when they showed up. and
He
shot
turned
at
it.
them.
He sanded them so much they all turned into N64 textures.
Listen here. Listen, you stop your nonsense.
Oh, I think that's all I had for me.
You haven't
So-
playing anything else?
No, I've been like focusing hard. Actually, I never do this. Actually, I typically bounce between game to game to game to game and never
Nice.
finish anything.
I'm upset that you're doing this.
Yeah, I finished 0. I finished Kiwami. I'm working on Kiwami 2.
I know what I'm going to do on September 14th.
Pick up
Chelsea
Tomb Raider.
Son.
Exclusively play.
Oh yeah, Tom Raider's out this week, right?
Ah!
That's not one I'll be getting to.
I need to buy that.
You need to stop backing up.
Fucking Christ.
I think I'll end up buying that one.
I'm gonna buy a used.
I need to hear performance, and then
Yeah.
after performance,
I mean, even if it's great and performance is great and everything's great about this great,
Brother,
I don't have time for it. It's
That's
Brother,
too much I want right away.
you
Like,
know what the game's gonna be.
yeah.
It's gonna be Rise of the Tomb Raider.
it might not even be that good.
It's gonna look. You hated that game.
It might not even be that.
Well, no,
That's
I-
the second one, not the first. The first one was an awesome game.
No, the problems I have with Rise of the Tomb Raider already, they've said, like the content they've shown for this
It's
one
more of
is
that.
nothing like that.
Oh, it's not.
No, it looks completely different from the issues I had. With
My
Rise of the
concern
Tomb
is that
Raider.
this is made by Eidos Montreal
That's my problem with it, because they
They
created
made
Deus Ex
and Thief.
Mankind Divided and Thief.
Well, listen here. Mankind Divided was it was one of the best games ever created.
I think that game failed on every single front.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. It didn't run good.
No.
It didn't play good.
No.
Soundtrack was mediocre.
Adam Jensen was a horrible character.
Adam Jensen-
Listen here, his name is Sexy Jensen.
Sexy Jensen
Sexy
was
Jensen
just
bot boy.
Sexy Jensen was great in the first game, but then they just did the same fucking thing for the second game. Like, I don't know, that game, it was
The first-
clunky. It was.
You go back to Human Revolution, it doesn't hold up as well. Either.
I
Like,
guess at the time it was okay.
yeah, but it's you can tell. It has the same problems as Man Divider.
If they
Okay.
make another Deus Ex game and they make me be able to be mobile and move around and shit, then I'll play it.
That's what
But
Cyberpunk's gonna be.
If it's gonna be the
Ideally.
same shit,
Yeah.
I will never play a
Cyberpunk
game again.
is poised to possibly be the Dying Light to Dead Island
yeah.
scenario.
If Cyberpunk plays like a good shooter,
Yeah.
like I don't know what else they can, because I have my issues with CD Projekt Red.
Mhm.
There are some fucking
sure. But yeah, like if that game is what it should be, it's going to be Dying Light in the sense that it is what that game, the previous game, like archetype was, the Dead Island, the Deus Ex Human Revolution, but so much better that it invalidates any further efforts to make sequels to the previous thing. At that
If that game launches and feels good to play, Bethesda has no excuse anymore for Fallout.
people will still apologize for them.
That's a fucking crime.
Come on, Skyrim 2.
Fucking crime. Skyrim is the
Skyrim 2.
Skyrim is the least RPG of all of the RPGs
Skyrim
I've
2.
played. It is mind blowing.
It's fun though.
It's good. It's great at what it does.
It's
but the
still
fact
buggy.
that people are like it's the best RPG of all
No.
time, it's like
Dude, it's a hack.
it's not even
Yeah.
right. Like it's as RPG as Call of Duty's multiplayer is. I'm leveling up and
Slash.
getting new weapons and shooting people.
Slash. Just trade blows until one of you drops dead.
Yeah.
Listen here. They had a great chance with, was it Alduin? They made him look like the best badass dragon I've ever seen.
And then pissed it all away.
My god, I stood in front of him and beat him to death.
I had the magic build and just...
And like, he didn't even hurt me. The ads that came out hurt me more than he did.
If you were stealthy and used a bow, like, you could just obliterate his existence with wooden arrows.
Excuse me, you could be stealthy in that? You're just in a plane in front of him.
Yeah, you can crouch and be hidden.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
All plastic arrows.
Okay, listen here. I don't know
like
about
a
you.
Plastic fork on the tip of, like, wood. It just makes a fork sound when it hits.
What's a fork? Explain a fork sound to me. What's a fork sound? Is it like the sound of a door stopper? The brrr.
yeah. That's it. No, as I was saying that, I realized the problem with what I was saying.
It makes a fork sound.
Like a fork.
Just hold the fork up to your ear and just yells like, "You suck!"
Just the natural sound.
Just fork as it hits the side of it.
This pop up with a caption from like a comic book. Just fork!
Yeah.
Biff! Zam! Fork!
But yeah, I'll never be upset about Bethesda's, like, the way they're treating the Elder Scrolls universe, because they want to make it more accessible to people. And
sure.
People generally don't want.
How about they just put out Skyrim and then make it good?
Skyrim 2.
Well, they've released it so many times, you think they'd make it an RPG. Yeah, Skyrim 2, that's the...
Is that actually a thing?
No. But I want it to be.
The meme is that so many people don't know that it's actually called...
Elder Scrolls.
It's actually part of the Elder Scrolls universe. They're like, yeah, I played Skyrim, I love that game.
Well, yeah, the Elder Scrolls Online is Skyrim Online.
For most people.
To
Yeah.
most people.
Yeah.
And I'm not even exaggerating or joking in any way.
I think I tried that, or I watched you try that.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
And I didn't like the look of it.
It was, it has pretty good combat for an MMO.
It looks pretty nice for an MMO.
And it does look nice as well, yeah.
Like, it's weird how, like, most details don't look great, but it's just the way the lighting on the characters and stuff, when you're talking to them, it can look pretty good.
After playing, like, 40 hours of the latest WoW expansion...
Everything looks amazing.
Well, I'm realizing how important... I'm realizing how important lighting is.
Yeah.
And everything, because Final Fantasy XIV looks really fucking good, and
right?
It is purely lighting.
Yeah.
And, like, HD textures and stuff.
The textures are okay.
But that's why Gears of War 3 still looks amazing, is because of the lighting.
Yeah. Alright, on to...
news.
News?
Do you guys want to start with a good news, weird news, or bad news?
Just hit us.
Let's get the good out of the way.
Good out of the way. Okay.
Let's get the good out of the way to get to the good stuff.
Start with bad.
Oh, shit.
Go opposite.
Good news. THQ Nordic has acquired the license for Kingdoms of Amalur.
How is that good news?
You know what I did?
Because it means Kingdoms of Amalur gets to survive.
Well,
okay, listen.
Is that good news, though?
I played that game. It was easy. And then I fought the final boss, and it just does the fight for you.
Yeah.
You just launch Kamehameha at over.
But like,
and
it was
over
fun for a first effort thing. It was better than Fable.
That was an MMO
Whoa,
without
dude!
other people.
I straight up shot somebody in the middle of a street in Fable.
Fable is another one
And I
that
ruined his
is
life.
one of the worst. You made the playthrough better.
Did I?
It was a better
I'm
experience.
pretty sure you were salty for a little bit.
I was upset that you started killing people before I started killing people.
How did you figure out how to make this fun before I did?
I was building up an empire of people that worshipped me so that I could start killing them, and just jump the gun 70% of the way there. Fuck it, kill them now. But yeah, I guess Kingdoms of Alumar was pretty good. And that game was originally intended to be an MMO, right?
Well, it was supposed to be the prelude to an MMO. It was Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning was the game that came out. And then there was, I can't remember what their name for Copernicus, was that the name of? I don't know. There was something, there was an MMO that they were working on, but they ran out of money and they took out a loan from the state of Rhode Island, and then they went under, and then Rhode Island took ownership of the property, and that's why nobody got it for a while.
Rhode Island owns it.
But I guess THQ Nordic bought it off of them. And yeah, so the first thing you could probably expect from them is within months
half done.
Yeah, it'll probably be a barely functional remaster called Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning Edition.
Let's take a second and look at their previous...
I will play that game again.
Remastered, Dark, Definitive, War Mastered. Yeah, none of them are great.
Every single remaster they've done has been terrible.
Yeah, like they.
Well,
they're okay on PC. The console versions are like
yeah, I say terrible. I mean, like they did it and it happened and it sucked and they shouldn't have.
Yeah, they're not remastered in any way ever. It's always like, I don't know. Here's the PC version. Kind of works. Like
copy and paste.
Yeah. We still. I might be wrong, but I still don't think we've, to my knowledge, seen a THQ Nordic original game yet. It's all been remasters from them, right?
I think so.
So we'll see if maybe they're just saving their effort for the big guns, but
Yeah, because if these remastered editions are
all they got.
Yeah.
At the very least, maybe we'll see Kingdoms of Amalur get put out on back compat on Xbox, maybe. Just that 360 version, just make it run.
What's been the worst remaster of this generation? Is it still Prototype?
That's up there, probably. Yeah, I think the Transformers games are supposed to be pretty bad too. The Fall and War for Cybertron.
They remastered those.
Technically, yeah.
Those were capped at 30 on the PC.
I remember hearing pretty bad things about the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. They ported over as well.
Those were remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paid attention.
I think they're already delisted again too.
Good.
Evan and I and Trenton, we all played it. It was fun.
The remastered one?
Yeah, I bought it.
Yeah, it probably functions, but it.
$30?
Yeah, I heard it wasn't the best
Not a
version.
shit version.
Well, I mean, it looks better than the original, so
So they did the bare minimum. That's good.
That's the thing.
Like, the characters like look really good.
Joe and my definition, Joseph and mine's definition of a bad remaster is pretty specific, I guess. Like, I feel like
we're nail performance.
Well, we're on the same page of like, if you're going to remaster it at all, performance has to be great, it's one of two things. Either you've completely remade the game,
Shadow of the Colossus,
and you get good performance out of that, or like a Yakuza Kiwami 2, and it's just like, this doesn't even resemble the original game, so performance, you get a bit more of a pass on that.
Yeah.
You focus everything on just like resolution and performance. Like, it's just cleaned up and runs beautifully. If you're not hitting those two things and you're just doing a quick and dirty remaster, what did you do at all? Why am I paying you for this? Why am I paying you up to $40 for this? It's,
some of them have been expensive.
Do your job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy that Kingdoms of Amalur gets to live on, because
King Alimar was a good...
King Value Mart.
I played a bit of it.
It was an alright game.
Yeah. I remember the combat being pretty fun. It was cool.
The thing that I was super excited for is like, man, if this plays like this and then they just make it an MMO, I will be thrilled.
Yeah, that's the thing. It felt like a better than average first start for a franchise. It could have gone places, and maybe it will now. Maybe it won't. Maybe THQ Nordic is just doomed to...
They're going to Nordic it up.
Maybe the THQ part is doomed to suffer the same fate.
Rip.
Next piece of, I'd consider good news is, so Capcom has promoted Ryuzo Tsujimoto, I guess he was a producer on Monster Hunter, to now head up the fighting game division rather than Yoshinori Ono, who's been doing it. So, I'm not saying this new guy is necessarily going to be...
Which Monster Hunter?
World.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not saying this new guy is necessarily going to be the best, but guy what been doing it hadn't been doing it.
Yeah.
Like Street Fighter V, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Infinite was one of the worst fighting games.
And it's crazy how... So Capcom's had some really good years the last few years of stuff, and none of that's been because of fighting games. Which is crazy. Capcom used to be the fighting game... Like, they were responsible for, like, the first and second renaissances of fighting games.
Yeah.
Like, it was all about Street Fighter, both times. Like, Street Fighter 2 and then Street Fighter 4. Both brought on their respective eras of fighting games.
And instead we saw the best Monster Hunter released.
Resident Evil 7.
Pretty much by default. And then Resident Evil 7, one of the best Resident Evils. One of the best looking and performing games I've ever seen on a console.
Devil May Cry 5 is coming out. Resident Evil 2 Remake's coming out. Like, Capcom is spinning on all cylinders, yet, like, they have this shit side to them. That's their fighting game division, and their remastered division has been terrible. Like the Mega Man collections on Switch, and it's like you have to download half of it. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That should be illegal.
Yeah. So Crapcom strikes.
That's good that they're moving people around.
Yeah, because I guess I think that the Ono guy, I know he wasn't new to being the head of the fighting game division. He was responsible for some good shit with them, but when your time's up, your time's up. Like, Miyamoto isn't important anymore at Nintendo. Like,
that's a crime that you just said.
What? Oh, yeah.
You've offended
everybody.
Everybody.
It's like, he was responsible
for remember, everybody's sucking the Switch dick again?
Yeah.
You gotta get off that. It's the best machine ever made, Chris.
Yeah. But Miyamoto, like, he was responsible for some great shit, but eventually the same thing that happened to George Lucas happened, where he was surrounded by yes men, and nobody would challenge him, so shit would come out that was completely of his own.
Yeah, a lot of Nintendo's decisions nowadays are very dated decisions.
Yeah, although they're getting better. Like, Miyamoto has less of an influence, it seems.
I have a strong feeling these Switches, in the way it is, it's purely software. Like, the games they're putting out are doing incredibly well, but that system by itself has no reason to be as successful as it is. Like, being able to carry it around is cool, being able to dock it and play it on the TV is cool, but it's kind of the bare minimum for TV in terms of what it can do compared to every other hardware device out there.
Well, also, like,
best handheld device.
It doesn't need to have all these other, like, multimedia features and browsers and all this stuff. Like, everybody has an infinite number of devices that can handle all that stuff.
Yeah, treat it as a game machine.
Like, I have no problem with that at all. Like, I don't care if it doesn't have any of that stuff in it.
I really would like an internet browser on it. But that's
I have a phone.
I don't want to pull my phone out.
But you want to pull your Switch out?
No, like, while I'm playing a game, I want to browse.
Okay.
Yeah, no. And I don't mean an internet browser to, like, watch YouTube or something. I mean, like, I'm attempting a Zelda dungeon for the last time in my life, and I want to find out how to do it.
What it needs is the Miiverse again, where every game had its own message board system.
Yeah.
And then you could just in-game pull that up.
How is the Wii U a more social system than the Switch? Like, what the fuck happened?
How did they not bring over the one amazing thing from the Wii U?
They don't know what they haven't had. They're guessing still. Mm-hmm. I wholly believe that this system's success is because it's a guess from the ground up. They have no idea what they're doing still.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Nintendo, I guess some bad news.
Good news.
Well, they were going to have that Nintendo Direct on Thursday. But
earthquake. No, that's actually bad news.
Yeah, it got pushed back because of a big earthquake in Hokkaido. It didn't sound like there was like massive casualties or anything I didn't look too closely into it, so it might be way worse than I've been saying. But hopefully everyone over there is okay. Already saw some really dumb responses on Twitter over it.
Oh.
Which is just like, well, what are you going to do to make it up to us that you delayed it? It's like,
fuck off.
Like, what?
The only thing worse than Nintendo's fans.
But again, that person, the person who's going to say that is 12 to 15.
A Nintendo fan.
Right? And I think a lot of people forget that.
Yes.
Because it's easy to just assume who's on the other end of that text anytime you see someone post anything there. A lot of people will envision
it's easy to forget.
A white man, you know what I mean, or something like that. That's easy to hate.
It's easy to forget that it's just Pokemon players.
Yeah. And it's also easy to forget you were that too. You were a shithead too. And you might not have had access to the internet the way these people did.
I go back to like my old posts in like Call of Duty forums and stuff, and I'm like, man, I was a dick.
Yeah.
Like the one like big post that I made was like, yo, I beat this thing and it didn't give me a trophy. What the fuck, Treyarch?
Yeah.
And, like, the community manager responded with like, I have no context for what you're talking about. You need to give me more detail.
No, fuck you.
And, like, I didn't reply until, like, 3 days later, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, my bad. Like, a bit of understanding, at least. Mm-hmm. But no, like, if I go back through my old post history on things, it's some nonsense, too.
Yeah.
But holy shit, some people no filter whatsoever. Well, like, I don't feel like I was ever that vehemently stupid.
Well, you also probably didn't have the access. So you posted on a forum, right? A specific forum. Nowadays, people post on Twitter. That's just broadcast to the whole world at that point.
That's a good point.
It's like a convergence point of everybody. So everybody gets to see your shit. So these young people with no filter they just get out there and do their thing, and thank God social media wasn't what it was when I was at my worst.
Yeah.
Because, holy crap, I would never be able to live it down. Because everybody has that phase in their life where they're a shithead, and it gets directed in different
ways.
ways.
And that's because we don't beat our children anymore.
Exactly.
Right, moving on.
Moving on. Anyways, yeah, people suck online, but remember,
they're probably children.
They're probably children.
And if they're not children, they weren't beaten.
And, yeah.
Moving on.
Weird news. Remember that Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition? That mobile game? It looked like a mobile game.
Filled with microtransactions?
It probably was, but that's not why we're talking about it today. They announced that it's coming to Switch, which, okay, sure.
Wasn't 15 also coming to Switch?
Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
But didn't they announce earlier?
They had announced. No, they had mentioned that they're looking to bring some version of 15 to the Switch. I think.
Oh, that's what.
And then this is this. And I think there were rumors before that they were going to do this Pocket Edition on Switch, and that just got confirmed. I think that was supposed to be part of the Nintendo Direct that got delayed because a lot of stuff's been coming out about the Switch. That is the type of Civ 6 is coming to the Switch and stuff like that.
Right.
But the reason I bring this up is not only is that coming to Switch, also coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Where you have real Final Fantasy 15.
No, it's all about that.
Maybe it's better than 15.
maybe it's worth. Maybe we'll have to look up the trailer. But I heard that, and I was like, "What?"
I'll say, honest to God,
15 is not a.
Yeah, it's not easy to beat 15. So if the Pocket Edition is anything at all, it might be better.
I mean, it's not hard to beat 15.
What did I say?
You said it's not easy.
Oh yeah, no, 15's terrible.
There's some good aspects to it.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely, a lot of that is just my opinion, but no, there was things about that game that are just fucking stupid and wrong, and the performance is still ass on everything.
Yeah.
So, no excuse there.
But yeah, I was, there's not much to this story other than, what? Okay. Why?
Potentially a good Final Fantasy coming to system consoles again.
Do you want to, roll your eyeballs out of your skull?
They're already on fire, so... Let's take them all the way.
Polygon's been defending Overwatch loot boxes suddenly now, as if that's something people are still talking about. They put out an article going it'd be way worse if they sold stuff piecemeal. You should be grateful for the gambling. And it's just what?
Let's take a second here. Let's recap the story thus far. What is Polygon?
Right? Who even are they at this point?
So Polygon's only reason to exist at this point is to be against what everyone says.
Be against what everyone says, and probably
so I'm kind of hypocritical,
and probably broadcast the opinions of their incestuous relationships within the game industry. Right? That's probably the only reason they wrote this article is because they have a ton of friends at Blizzard, or specifically at the Overwatch team. And it's people I don't know. It's people
makes me happy that IGN just keeps distancing themselves from the rest of the game journalist thing.
I almost get the sense that the only reason they wrote this is because, people have stopped talking about loot boxes, and the way it more or less ended was that, loot box bad, Blizzard bad, we need to set the story straight. It's
well, it is bad, and Blizzard is bad, so you're dumb.
I don't know why you're bringing this up now. People have moved on.
It's the least offensive way to
do sure, they're way worse.
But
just because one thing's worse than another thing...
It's still a crime.
Yeah. It's still gambling. It's still predatory. What do you... Yeah.
How does...
And they were well, you see... And so they tried to frame it in that, if you do the math, so you look at some of the skins that they have chosen to sell piecemeal versus the loot boxes, if they sold everything like that, you'd actually be paying way more money. As if Blizzard themselves don't make up the prices.
Yeah, those skins are crazy. The one that I understand was the money goes to charity.
Yeah,
that was an expensive-ass skin.
It was.
A Humble Bundle puts money towards charity. You choose how much and where it's going.
But, goes to charity. You can brush off a little bit of it, I guess. But yeah, this...
How much was that Mercy skin in Canada?
It was $17.99, was it not?
I thought it was $30.
For sure, $17.99.
Well, if it's $17.99, the rest of the world is $30 in Canada.
Something like that.
We would have seen USD pricing, right?
I thought because I bought it because I'm an idiot.
Well, money went to charity.
Sure.
But you are part of the problem.
Yeah.
So. Whatever, I've only put $300 in loot boxes.
I
complain about this shit. I still do it until they get rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know, it's
really your part of the problem.
And there's a way to do this stuff that is as inoffensive as possible, and Blizzard did it. It's still bad. And I don't know, you look at Fortnite, and...
Yeah, their prices are ridiculous.
And they're still making so much fucking money.
Because none of it's randomized, you just buy what you want.
Yeah. Of course it's their market, so it's their pricing and their everything, but...
Excuse me.
I think Blizzard... Yeah, that's the thing. Blizzard would make more money if they would just sell individual things, because I think they get more people...
I would buy all of the skins that I want. Me and Miles have been saying that for years. You let me buy what I want, and I will give you the money. Yeah. Fuck, the Diablo 3 not having microtransactions, they missed out.
Big time.
I will say thousands of dollars from me.
Yeah.
Like, I've put, like, into Warframe, I've put over $1,000.
And, you know, after a certain
easily.
point, like... Even if it is a paid game, after you get X amount of time out of it, you almost feel compelled, like, man, if there was something I could buy from this, almost like as a tip, even. Yeah. Like, I feel that way about free games sometimes, where it's just like, man, I'm getting so much out of this. Like Warframe, for instance. Yeah. Like...
What were we talking about, Diablo 3? I was commenting on not having enough stash space.
If they let me buy stash space. If Path of Exile lets me do it. I put, like
even if it's
$80
like
in stash space.
Like
you do it.
Yeah, fucking right.
Like, I love this game. I've already gotten way more than my money's worth. I'll give you money.
Yeah.
Like,
like, let me buy 3 additional tab space for $30. I'll do it. $10 every time. Just let me do it, and I'll pay. Then I'll play it more.
Yeah.
I just don't have enough stash space for everything. That's the problem.
But yeah, I'm not an economist, so I don't know how it all breaks down. If they actually literally would get more money if they did it one way versus another. But I just found it rich that the explanation for why you all plebeians are dumb for complaining about loot boxes and wanting this other system, when, it would be so much more expensive. Because these pretend numbers aren't just made up out of nothing by Blizzard themselves. Like, they control the pricing. It's not like it has to be one way or another.
I think Polygon's ever looked at the Steam market for CSGO items.
They probably haven't looked at anything.
$1,000 knives.
They just regurgitate what they're told by.
1,000. That's on the low end, right?
Yeah,
aren't knives like $10,000 at the max?
I don't think they get that high. I haven't looked in a year.
You know what? Maybe it was a skin for the op, and I think it was $10,000.
It's crazy. One sold for. Oh yeah, there was one that had the dude's name on the side of it. Competitive player. Yeah, that sold for a lot of money. But Polygon. What's the term? Contrarian.
Yeah.
I feel like that's because they were like Last of Us was pretty close to breaking some records for its
They were
reviews.
the only their outlet that...
They gave it a 7 out of 10.
I thought it was 6.
Maybe 6.
Which, whatever, that's their prerogative, they can.
Yeah, but a review is absolutely your opinion.
It felt disingenuous as fuck, though.
Like, all of their reasons and complaints and issues, none of it was, like, based off of, like, game mechanics, like, game things. Yeah. It was all, again, political nonsense. Blows my mind. I cannot, like, Last of Us at its official launch, I cannot give higher than, like, a 5 out of 10. Like, that game had so many issues that I was not okay with. It was still my favorite game on PS3.
But you would have given it... You would have docked it for, performance technical issues, control issues. Anyway.
Polygon's weird.
Polytaku.press, though. That's a website.
Is that really a website?
It's a real website, and it's really good.
Is it like the Onion?
It's like the Onion.
Cool.
Of video games.
Kotaku's been a little all over the place, too, lately.
I used to...
They had some...
I'm still not done mourning Kotaku, because ages ago, it feels like now, they used to be a legit... They were just a feed of news in games as it happened. Yeah. And they had scoops, and they would comment on rumors, and market as such. It wasn't like... Yeah, that's nowadays they post stories based on rumors as if they're true. And it's like, they used to be so much better, and then they devolved into political correct identity politics shit. And then I had hope for Polygon because that was supposed to be an exodus of people from Kotaku starting something new, and I was like, okay, are we going to get old Kotaku back? And no, we're going to get new Kotaku 2.0.
Yeah.
It's too bad. And then you have Vox and The Verge and Vice and just, oh my god.
I don't even know what that is.
It's all shit.
It's all the same.
And I guess last story I had, we'll wrap this up soon here. Continuation of one of the last things we talked about last week was so that whole PAX Riot Games
Fight me at PAX,
man babies aren't allowed kind of thing. I guess a couple people have been let go from Riot.
Is it those people?
So last week I specifically quoted a guy named Chris Pollock, and he was the one who was like, people are indefensible idiots or whatever. Nothing happened with him. I guess there were 2 other people that were way worse and harder on it. It was, let's see, systems designer Daniel Klein and communications associate Matthias Lemon. Klein was quoted as saying, "I was fired for violating our social media policy." We still don't know if Lemon was actually fired or if he just left. But I don't know if there's a lot to say on that, but I guess good on Riot for maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell who's won and who's lost yet.
Yeah.
Because I know who I want to lose, and I can't.
I mean, at the end of the day, those people broke the law. Like, that was discrimination. That was...
Yeah.
You can't do that. I don't care what your social agenda is. That was actual sexism. That was actual discrimination. You don't get to make up the definition of sexism and be like, it's sex plus power. No.
Well, I can't do it yet.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The laws aren't changed yet. Anyway, that's all I had.
I want to die.
Yeah. You look like your eyes are getting fucky.
That hurt a lot.
Close them.
That hurts too.
Ugh. If you want to email us, justkinda.loafin@gmail.com.
Spell it out, Chris.
JustKindaloafin@gmail.com. No G on loafin.
Yeah, that's for losers.
Yeah, we're just loafing. We're not loafing.
Yeah.
Just kind of loafing.
Yeah.
So
reach out to us. Podcast. Text me. Call me up.
We have a Twitter.
We have a... Oh, yeah, we have a Twitter.
I don't check it.
Neither do I.
Nothing happens there.
Maybe don't message us on Twitter.
Yeah. We have a YouTube channel, but we just
check our messages.
We're just putting podcasts on there.
Yeah, we're a podcast channel now.
We have a Twitch, just kind of manly on Twitch.
We stream sometimes.
Sometimes. Podcast over.
Yeah, that's it.